Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. Let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. Happy Sunday to everybody, man. Big J, what's the word? What's the word?
Yes, sir. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, baby.
Absolutely, man.
We about to
I don't
move
know if you guys,
away.
I don't know if you guys are boxing fans, but man, my God, last night was incredible. Terrence Crawford and we're gonna greet everybody too. Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence was unbelievable. That was wow, a massacre. But shout out to both of them guys who put it on the line, man. That's a tough sport. But
Yeah,
let me
brothers
just
put
greet
it
a
on.
couple. What'd you say, Jay?
Them brothers put it on, man.
They put it on the line, man.
Happy Sunday, Trojan fam. Everybody else around the country, happy Sunday.
Absolutely. I'm gonna just greet a couple people real quick, and we're gonna get into this. Brian Gray, what's going on? Oscar, my man, what's going on? Dr. Let's see, Dr. 819. What's up? What's up? Happy Sunday to you, man. Bless everybody. Big Brian Jenkins, what's the word, my man? What's the word?
What up, Jake?
Max Reps 951. What's the word? Good morning. Hey, so look, man, we're gonna talk about this. Jason, what's up? So look, we are here, man. Now is the time, and the time is now. I am tired of talking about this other stuff other than the game. I'm ready. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of talking about other stuff other than the games. I'm ready to talk about some football games. And guess what? We about to hit August. In a few weeks, August 26th, opening up against San Jose State. It's about to be straight up go time, man. On it, Papa Jay. What's your word on that, man?
Man, I'm so excited, man. Hey, this has been the fastest off season probably I felt in the last decade.
Yeah.
It just seems like normally when you're excited about something, it takes forever to get there.
Yeah.
But we've been so active, we've been so busy, we've been moving and grooving so much as an institution, as a program, that every single day, every single week, there's been something exponential happening within the program. So it's just kept me connected. And now, just a couple more sleeps and we get to wake up and the season is on full throttle. So I'm really fired up about this, man.
Absolutely, man. And then in the middle, absolutely, Jay. And in the middle of all this stuff, man, we got all types of crazy action going on, especially within the Pac-12, man. I mean, that's a whole nother story within itself. You got Colorado, and then I guess they're suspecting that Arizona may be involved with this to get ready to lead the Pac-12, man. What is your initial thoughts? And then we'll get into some of the season preview. What is your initial thoughts of exploding right now?
Man, you could just sense, even just when you said that, my body language just got anxiety.
Yeah.
So yeah, I played in the Pac. At the time it was the Pac-10. So I am honestly sad to see it being dismembered, basically.
Yeah.
However, nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. And so let's just enjoy this final season. Wow, USC is still a part of this conference. Let's just enjoy it. Try to take all of the positive things out of it that we can, and just recognize that the Pac-10, the Pac-12 has given USC a platform over these last several and beyond decades, multiple decades. It's just giving us a stage to do what we do. So I'll pay homage to the Pac. You do outgrow things. So you can't always wear the same shoe size your whole life. Eventually your feet get bigger so you can step stronger and cover more ground. And that's
absolutely. Let me ask you this before we move on, real quick. In a perfect scenario, I have my theory. Well, what I think the way it should go, but what teams do you think the Big Ten should take, and then what teams do you think the Big 12 should take in a perfect scenario?
Well, I do think the Big Ten or the big conference, however they're going to identify it, fight on, Tony. I think we should definitely take Stanford.
Absolutely.
Because that's a storied rivalry. Of course, obviously, UCLA is there. I would love to see Washington there because we've always been competitive. I think I'm not even opposed to Cal being there because it's such
Yeah.
another academically sound institution.
Academically, yeah.
Correct. Arizona or Arizona State, those are all synonymous with Pac football. The only reason I wouldn't say Oregon is because of how arrogant they are.
That's my thing. And believe it or not, academically, they're up there, but they're part of the research. They're kind of down there as far as they're not up where people think they should be. Washington is up there, ranked high, pretty high.
High academically, yeah. You see some of the most brilliant minds in the business world come out of Washington, out of even the Arizona schools. And so they're, just a lot of real estate developers come out of Arizona schools. The people that come out of Oregon are good athletes. I mean, from what I understand, there's a lot of really good athletes that come out of Oregon with this affiliation with Nike. So it has a very natural allure to people who want to carry, especially for the certain Olympic sports like track and field. Oregon is a very competitive school. It's too much show, not enough go for me.
Absolutely.
That's what it is. That's what it is. And had they been a little more meek or humble about the relationship that they have with USC and how USC has helped bolster their program, I think then it would have been a healthy merger to bring them over as well. But they've always tried to coin themselves as superior to this program that we support, and it's just completely untrue. So greatness and Oregon are not synonymous with one another. And I'm not throwing shade against Oregon. I have great friends that went to Oregon and they were great players, but the institution from a football standpoint has never experienced greatness. It just hasn't. And that's not me throwing shade. That's just the truth. They've never won a national title. They've been consistently ranked high, but it just reminds me of the Dallas Cowboys to an extent where you coin yourself as so great, but historically you're kind of underperforming at the larger scale. So that's just why I feel that way. And, Oregon, when USC went through all those sanctions, that they were kicking a dead horse.
Yeah.
Sure. It was like Oregon could have been popped for anything, any multitude of violations. But for whatever reason, USC was made to be the collegiate scapegoat and the poster boy for punishment and capital punishment for a program. And the things that we were accused of doing have been disproven, have been discredited since then. Like, it has been officially confirmed that the NCAA lost its lawsuit against Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
It lost because the claims and the fines were unjustified, unmerited, yet the sanctions, the fines, the penalties were carried through. That was a complete debauchery of rules. And the fact that we now live in an era where it's proven that even if someone did take something illegally at the time, look at the era and generation that we live in now. And I know when we were down, that's when Oregon got its ascension. And Oregon was taking the athletes who didn't want to deal with punishments or sanctions or bowl bans, scholarship restrictions. And that's when Oregon became relevant, in my opinion.
Right. No, I totally agree with you on that, man. And if I were to pick just a few teams, just to kind of keep it West Coast to limit some of the travel, I would do the same. Washington. I respect Washington. I remember when they were getting a lot of players from LA, man. It was crazy.
Me too.
And, I mean, that was like, they were like the way Oregon was. I mean, they were getting a lot of players. A lot of my buddies played for Washington, and so I respect them. They won national championships. I think it was under Don James, but it was back in the day. And so I respect them. And then even Arizona, I was reading where the Phoenix market is legit too. I think is it Arizona State? Arizona State.
Arizona State.
Arizona State. So I was reading about them, and then of course Cal and Stanford, those two right there. But anyway, so
we're on the same page with that.
Yeah. So man, let's get into this football. Let's get into this fall camp, man. It's already on and popping. It's on and cracking. And let's talk about the offense. All of us know that the offense is extremely explosive. It's straight up go time. And just to give you guys some numbers on the season, last year they averaged 2022. They averaged 41.4 points per game, 506 yards per game, which was third, and then the 41 points per game was third as well, and then running yards per game 171. So here's my question: as perfect as they were last year, as we get into this, of course you got Caleb Williams, 66% on the year, 4,537 yards, 42 TDs, 5 INTs, and then 382 rushing yards, 10 touchdowns with that. The newcomers we got, of course, Dorian Singer. He had 1,105 yards, which was 16.7 yards per average. And then Mario Williams, he's the leading returner with 631 yards. So how can we improve on the offense, in your opinion, man, that's this explosive?
Oh, I got you. To me, that's very simple. Increase athleticism, increase body mass, increase aggression, increase commitment to finishing the game strong, finishing quarters strong. There's a whole lot of intangibles that we left out there on the field.
Let's talk. You really going into my next question. Let's talk about, yeah, go ahead. Let's talk about that.
So we executed very well overall. I know that our O-line last season was very good, but they struggle with athleticism for sure. You can see that the coaching staff and particularly Coach Benny Wiley, he had to teach culture. He had to teach like proper lifting mechanics. He had to put size and mass on these athletes. And so when you're always teaching the core fundamentals of how a program is supposed to be, it's extremely challenging to allow for the other things to be developed or honed in on, like the nuances of the game that allow for individual players to leave their unique thumbprint. And so I could tell there was nothing actually special about what our O-line did, except they were strong and physical when it was time to be. But I know now that with the addition of Emmanuel Pragnon, with we got Jared Kingston now. He's going to be explosive.
Yeah.
I'm thinking some of the guys. Gino is going to get a lot more reps.
Yeah.
You know, we still haven't even seen Cooper Lovelace. He's extremely athletic. We got Emmanuel Tarquin, or I'm sorry, Michael Tarquin. Yeah. Michael Tarquin, big body, big, athletic dudes that we can actually implement. And Jonah now is a year stronger, right? And you can see all of the agilities that these O-line have been doing. You can see in some of their, preseason prep, you can see all of the foot mechanics that they're adding into the program. That is a huge difference, because I remember going down to the field, I think it was against Washington State, and I could see that they were doing drills similar to what DBs do. I was like, wow, our O-line are doing like DB drills. Some of them look more fluid, some of them looked a little more stiff. But now a year into doing that and having the range of motion in the hips, having the mobility, having the dexterity, not just the size, the power, and the physical, prowess, but the agility, the foot skill to accompany so they can move as elite as Caleb moves, man, we're going to produce more for sure.
So we talk about the offensive line, and that was kind of one of the things you kind of going to where I wanted to go as far as the protection part. And I totally agree with you. Michael Tarquin, of course, Justin Dedich, Jonah Mine, all these guys, Emmanuel Pragnon. I think the offensive line is pretty much Jared Kingston is locked, sealed, and delivered as far as who the 5 starters is going to be. However, these guys, they're going out and compete. But is there anything? I know this is going to sound like blasphemy. And I'm not, but I want to have a real conversation.
Absolutely.
Is there anything, and there's some things crossing my mind right now, that Caleb can do to improve? Or let me say it like this: is there anything that Caleb can cut out of his game to improve?
Absolutely. Caleb doesn't have to score on every play.
Yes.
Number one, Caleb doesn't have to make his O-line work so hard.
That's the part. If it's one thing, Jay, if it's one thing, he's the Heisman Trophy winner. We know that. It's the Heisman Trophy winner. But if it's one thing, if we just keep it real all throughout the season, man, we were going crazy. Like I was thinking he was going to get hurt doing some scrambling. So
Right.
I'm totally agreeing with you on that.
I mean, yeah, we didn't see many throw the ball away last season. Caleb rarely threw the ball away. He would either run out of bounds or take a 16-yard sack.
Yeah.
Or look like a complete savant, genius, Houdini, magician, cast a ghost, disappear on you, appear over here. Like, yeah, man. And when I was in high school, my teammates used to call me Nightcrawler. I don't know if you guys watch Marvel comics, or he's a superhero that looks like a kind of like a scary, like demon type character, but his ability is he can teleport from anywhere to wherever his mind can visualize, right? And my teammates used to say that because like I would catch the ball and just run all over the place, breaking like I was very much a sideline runner until I got space, and then I would commit a field, right? So Caleb has that unique ability where I'm like, man, this dude is like Nightcrawler. He will be here and then poof, pop over here, then poof, pop over here. Like if we can get him to just stay within the specific confines of the offensive scheme and just execute at the base level, I think we're gonna do a very, very good job. My baby just came in. She all right? Okay. Sorry, that was my daughter.
That's all right. Yeah.
And if we can just get Caleb just to not be so poof, 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 and if he can really just dissect the defense and allow the offense to stay in one rhythm, we will make routine plays look very explosive. And we have the offensive weapons to do from the fact that he now has, I think, two like explosive slot type guys in Raleigh and now Zach Branch. Those two guys are kind of synonymous with each other. I think Taj Washington and Mario Williams, their games are kind of synonymous with each other. Then you got a Dorian Singer now and a Brendan Rice. Those games kind of mirror one another in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You have Mike Jackson and you have Kyron. They have a lot of similarities. And now you add a Deuce Big Deuce Robinson, who can play tight end, who's officially on the roster. They got him at wide receiver, as well as a Jacoby Lane, who's super tall. We can't forget about Makai Lemon. And it's just when you just think about how many options there are, you have an unlimited smorgasbord of elite skill players that have great yards after catch ability. You have guys who can high point. You have guys that can catch in traffic. You have guys that can make one cut, get up the field. You have outlet receivers who know how to find the pockets in the defense, like Steve Smith and Kerry Colbert used to do, and like Marquise Lee and when he was here, Amon Ra. We have all those types of guys. I haven't even talked about our actual tight end specifically. Jude Wolf is finally going to be healthy, and you guys don't know how good he is.
Yeah.
And then you have Carson Tabo.
Oh my God.
They moved him to tight end type H-back or type of position, and he's a beast. We haven't even got to running back. Like honestly, from top to bottom, you pick your poison, and it don't matter which one you pick, they all gonna kill you. You're gonna choke to death on all of them.
No, I totally agree. And there were some times last year, offensive line did what they had to do, but there were some times last year where we could have hit like Josh Follow in the flat open. I seen that a couple of times.
Yeah.
And we just talked about things that we left a couple of points out there on the field. And I think USC, I think Caleb Williams, I mean, if you listen to some of his conversation, you listen to him in the Pac-12 media, I think he really addressed that. Like he himself said he can improve. I mean, someone say, hey, how can you improve being a Heisman Trophy winner? But look, man, that's what makes him the competitive player that he is, because he kind of critiques himself and says, look, there's some things I left out on the field and I want to move and groove. But yeah, it was some times I seen Josh Follow, instead of going for the guy down the field, the big play, there's some 10-yard plays, 15-yard plays that we can easily make, man. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think Caleb addressed it, and let's be very honest. That was Caleb's first year as a starter.
Yes, yes.
Like, let's be honest. That was his first year of college football,
and he had a phenomenal year,
and he won a Heisman.
Yeah.
So, and he broke every USC quarterback record in history. And we had Carson Palmer. We've had Rodney Peete. We've had Matt Leinart. We've had Marinovich. We've had some amazing quarterbacks. Let's be honest. And he's the best. And he's the best by far as a sophomore, a true sophomore at that. So in this era where defenses are more explosive, more dynamic, more tricky, everything's just faster, right? So, and when all the pressure is on your shoulders. So Caleb, he said himself, he has lofty.
Yeah.
Excuse me, guys. My allergies are buzzing today. But Caleb himself said he wants to throw for 60 plus touchdowns this year, and ideally 0 interceptions. Now that's a lot of pressure. Is it accomplishable for him? Absolutely, because I think overall as a receiving core, we probably dropped 20 touchdowns last year.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was, and everything wasn't on Caleb. It goes both ways. Like you said, the receivers. So staying right there with the 60 points because the 60 touchdowns, because there was a team that won a national championship, and I kind of wanted to compare, and it was LSU. Of course, right. Joe Burrow threw, I think, for 60 touchdowns. And so my thought process that's been coming to my mind this season is, can USC, can they pass that LSU team? Not saying that we just have to, but we have the capability, we know, but do you think you think we can?
I'm quite confident that if Caleb stays healthy and if the receivers overall play sound football, absolutely. Because every single one of our receivers can take a 10-yard route and turn it to 50 yards. And so Caleb doesn't have to throw deep balls this year, but he will. He doesn't have to stretch the field, but he will. But I believe our offensive game plan now is going to be a lot more simple than it was last year, because last year we had to gimmick a lot of our stuff in a lot of ways. And after just looking at certain film and certain competitive scenarios, particularly like the Oregon State game, where we seem to struggle with our base offensive concepts. I firmly believe that now with the diverse style of running backs that we have, and then the players being in the system who are returning production, they being in the system another year, the guessing component is out. And you can tell by the end of the season, Brendan Rice fully understood the offense.
Absolutely.
And you can tell before that there was some miscommunication.
Yeah.
And I think when I used to think that Caleb sometimes forced the ball to Mario in certain situations, now I think it's more of he just trusted Mario's offensive understanding.
Right.
Like, that's what I think it more, because I used to be like, man, Mario was double covered right there, but look at Taj. Oh, but look at at the time it was why is my brother's name is escaping me. He wore number 10. No, jersey number 10 last year.
Kyron Ware-Hudson.
I'm sorry, number 0.
Bynum, Terrell Bynum.
Terrell Bynum, thank you. Yeah. Terrell, my bro, I'm so sorry.
He good.
If you listen to this, I got love for you, Terrell, so I never want to forget you. Bro.
Yeah.
But like, I saw Bynum wide open, and it's like, when you're a first-time quarterback with a first-time offense, Caleb was supposed to make way more mistakes than he did. Our offense was not supposed to produce like it did. But look, in spite of that, we broke all those records. And now everybody's a year closer, a year more seasoned, and we understand what Pac-12 football is like. They're gonna destroy, man. We're gonna break records. I could see us averaging close to 50, if not 50 points a game.
Yeah, man, no doubt. And even at the Pac-12 Media Day, Caleb, one of the things that he just watching him, man, he seems to be, his mindset just seems to be very professional, very humble, and very focus driven, man. And I think it's going to really play big for this year. Lincoln Riley did attribute, he said the same thing that you said about this being year 2. He talked about that with offense and defense, man. So Year two is going to make a world of a difference. Everybody's going to kind of know. They're just going to help the guys. Not to mention Dorian Singer that came from Arizona, who's has quite a bit of yards as well, man.
Yeah, people are really sleeping on him. I'm not.
Yeah,
I watched what he did the year before and the year that he played us last year. I watched what he did.
Yeah,
he's incredible.
He's incredible, man. And so we mentioned year two. We're gonna talk about Alex Grinch now because one of the very first. Let me go back all the way up. Here's a comment here. One of the comments here from a guy named Jeffrey Thompson. He says this. He says this team seems to have the answers, all of it, the all-season questions. He says still will feel better. Jim Leonard, and I've seen this. One of the shout out to you. Thank you for coming on. But one of the things is we're talking about Alex Grinch. He mentioned about being in year two. This is year two. He said the same thing that Lincoln Riley said, and he talked about the guys. Not only did he talk about the system, guys have been in the system, but he talked about how physically strong these guys have gotten due to Coach Benny Wiley. And can you talk about, from a defensive perspective, just to give comfort everybody's heart right now, because you still got comments like these. And hey, thank you for making the comment, because we want to address these comments just to make everybody feel comfortable. Can you talk about Alex Grinch, man? I mean, in year two in that system.
For sure. So here's what I'll say. We had about 130 or 140 something missed tackles last year. Just let that sink in. Just for a moment. Just for a moment. Let it register, because what that means is that over 140 times athletes were in position to make the tackle. Scheme puts you in position.
Yeah.
Scheme can't force you to make the play.
Can you say that again? So everybody keep talking about the 3-3-5. They talking about, I mean.
Listen, scheme is supposed to put your feet in the correct position. As a human, you have to have enough composure and skill to make the play. Now, I fully believe that our defense put the most sound and most ideal athletes on the field at all times.
Right.
Especially when we had depth issues, which we did have depth issues the whole season. We were shallow and short across the D-line. Our defensive skill were very new to that scheme. There was a lot of miscommunication within the secondary just because of the nature of how that defense works. But the defense is designed to confuse offenses, but when you're new at it, it can also confuse you as well, particularly when the depth has to rotate through injuries, right? Or whatever the circumstances are. But what I will say is, I believe our defense lost a couple of those games for us, particularly because athletes didn't make the plays when they were in position to. I've been a defensive coordinator for teams, and I put my corner and my safety in the perfect spot. And I told him, this is what's going to happen. The ball's going to come right to you. And guess what? As sure enough as I said it, the ball came right to the kid, and he allowed the receiver to jump in front of him. He didn't make a tackle, and the guy turned upfield and ran the ball. What more can a defensive coordinator do except tell you what to do, set you up for the most amount of success possible, and encourage you that you have it within you to make the play when you're supposed to. Again, guys, you can't blame a defensive coordinator for an athlete not making the play that they were supposed to make. Now, if we just had giant holes and we were just completely out of sorts, where guys were on the wrong side of the field, we didn't have the proper substitutions in, guys weren't communicating, everybody's tapping their helmet because they're confused, that's probably a defensive coordinator not getting guys organized. Yeah. I didn't see that very often. Yeah. Maybe 7 to 10 times I saw guys look confused, and that's human nature. Athletes get confused in situations. But mostly it was a lot of missed tackles and guys not making plays when they had the opportunity. I can't blame my defensive coordinator because he doesn't have helmet and cleats on. So please, would you stop blaming the defensive coordinator when the athletes themselves are not blaming the defensive coordinator? when the athletes themselves are saying, I missed that tackle. I slipped out of my break. I stared at the quarterback in man coverage and my guy was running. I take responsibility and ownership. I chose to strip the ball when instead I should have just tackled him, or vice versa. The athletes take ownership. The athletes love him. Think about it. These players love Coach Grinch. Like Keon Barr said, I came here because of Grinch. Bear Alexander, I came here because of Lincoln.
You're absolutely correct about that.
And Coach Grinch, the way they free me up, the way I can get off. Anthony Lucas said, they were recruiting me from the time I was in Oklahoma. I got a good relationship with Grinch. I've always been interested in that type of the way they disrupt offenses. I like how that's an offensive stopping defense. I believe he said something to that extent. That defense is an offensive. It confuses offenses, and I like that I can use my athleticism in that defense. The only people complaining about the defense are people outside of the program.
That's correct, and it's the truth, man. I mean, we just need to say it how it is, and you continue on.
Coach Grinch,
yeah,
man. My name is Jay Walk. We met multiple times throughout the season last year. I'm proud of you. I know how tough it is to wear the hat you're wearing, but I also understand where your vision is, and I can see why last year you were able to create so many turnovers with your scheme. And I also can see how we were shallow in depth, and I believe that you guys have done a remarkable job of addressing the depth. And I'm talking, if he watches this, Coach Grinch knows, you do have to have accountability, which I believe he does, because he takes full responsibility on almost everything that happens within that defense, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. But look, I have this saying in life, never say something that you don't want to be true. So I will never say that, man, I hate this defense or this defense sucks. All I will say is we just got to keep improving. And the athletes, when their number are called, they got to do the best they can to make that play. And that's really what it's all about, man. For now, we don't need another defensive coordinator. We have the perfect guy for the athletes.
And we can't change. Look, the season's about to. Everybody at this point, we need to buckle up. We need to put our seatbelts on right about now. Right now, while we on the show, seatbelts need to be coming on. You need to fasten them tight. We got a long season that's ahead of us, and we can't change the coordinator right now. And I think right now, I'm backing up Coach Alex Grinch 110% right now.
Look at the players he's brought in for us. Come on.
Yeah. We about to get into this. We about to get into this.
Mason Cobb, Anthony Lucas,
yes,
Bear Alexander, Keon Barnes, Jack Sullivan. I'm trying to think. The DB Fagans, DB Roland Wallace, bro.
Jamil Muhammad.
Jamil.
you got multiple guys.
How can I forget him?
No, it's all good. And so we're on the defense, and you look at the guys we brought in. But let me just go over. I went over the offense for those who are coming in. We got 101 people in here right now. For those who are coming in, we went over the offensive numbers. Now the defensive numbers last year, 29.4 per game, which ranked 93rd in the country. That's how many points we allow. Yards per game, 423.9, which ranked 126. Passing yards per game, 264.1, which ranked 112th. And then rushing yards per game, 159.7. Now, key people that we got coming in. We got Bear Alexander, of course, as Jay Walk just alluded to, Jamil Muhammad, Bear Alexander, Anthony Lucas. And then the number one guy, I think, out of all of them is going to be Mason Cobb. Mason Cobb last year, 96 tackles, 13 tackles for loss at Oklahoma State. He was like one of their leading guys. Of course, you guys already know we got one of the best safeties in the country coming back, Kalen Bullock, who had 48 tackles last year. And my computer is okay. Did I go blank just now?
No, you solid.
Oh, okay. 48 tackles last year, 5 INTs, and he had 5 pass breakups.
He actually had 6, but they stole one from him in Utah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah,
he might have won the Thorpe had they give him credit for that 6th interception.
absolutely, absolutely. And so you look at the production that we got coming back. You look at each individual that came in. You couple that, all the guys look bigger, man. And so the defense, I think we've addressed it. Coach Drench addressed it. He talked about it in media day, man. So I think right now the defense. If I were to say, Jay Wall, how would you rate this defense being percentage-wise being better? 10%, 20%, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. How would you rate it?
So here's what I'll say. I'll do it based on defensive statistical productivity. So last year we averaged 29 points a game giving up. Now, if we would have averaged 27 points a game, we could have went undefeated.
Yeah.
Because we
lost by 3 points.
We lost by 3 points multiple times all season long.
Right.
So had we just averaged 27 points a game, 26 points a game, we would have probably went to the national championship, and we could have really made it a competitive game against Georgia. So you guys don't believe that we can be 3 points difference, 4 points difference each game defensively?
That's a great point, man. That really is.
That's the difference. 4 points less per game, and we're undefeated.
Absolutely. And not only that, I really believe that.
It's possible, for sure.
It's very possible. And you look at what Ohio State did to Georgia last year, I believe our offense was just as potent. I believe that, of course, shout out to CJ Stroud. He's a local product. But I believe that Caleb Williams is what he did on his legs. He's a lot more mobile than what CJ Stroud was. And I think that, man, I think we could have, I'm telling you, I think we could have had a chance, man, if you see what they did.
Yeah. I believe that we would have been a tougher matchup for Georgia than Ohio State. I think Tulane was the type of game that we would have struggled with because of how they attacked the run game with our depth. But Georgia wasn't running the ball like that. They weren't running the ball like Tulane was. They really weren't. Not saying that they couldn't, but they weren't. And I think that Georgia's secondary would not have matched up against our offensive receivers as well.
No,
that's just my belief. It's my belief. No. It's hypothetical. I could be a homer, but I just was watching like, man, I think the way our scrambling quarterback would have attacked Georgia's defense, I think we would have gave them a fit. And I believe with how our DBs were playing that we could have done a pretty remarkable job against the Georgia wide receivers and Stetson and Bennett, right?
Yeah.
I thought we would have been a tougher matchup. I thought Tulane had a bunch of the things that we struggle with.
Absolutely.
They had the recipe against our style of defense for last year. I don't believe that. I don't believe that to be true now because they ran the ball so much and we were so short on depth. We couldn't get enough fresh bodies in, and that ultimately we were winning that game mostly through, and then we just a couple mental breakdowns. I don't believe those same mental breakdowns will be there. I know that Eric Gentry is healthier now.
And he weighs 223.
He's 20 pounds heavier than he played last year. 20 pounds heavier. And not just that, but now we got plug and play pieces. We got Taggart Curtis, man, he is a sideline to sideline machine. Yeah. So we've got these great accessory pieces that we just didn't have last year. Competitive depth that allows for our team to have a next man up mentality, truly next man up.
Absolutely.
And our corners are bigger, taller, more aggressive, and rangier than we had last year.
And believe it or not, it almost seems like we have an overabundance right now, especially when you talk about the edge rusher with Braylon Shelby looking like an absolute monster coming in. He looks incredible. Yeah. Even the freshman David Peavy looks incredible. Sam Green looks incredible.
Sam Green.
All these guys look unbelievable.
I haven't forgot about Corey. I think Corey's just a sleeper. I think he's
Corey Foreman. You got in Solo. I mean, the revelation that came the other day from Solo, he weighs 265 pounds. Wow.
Yes.
From 245 last year. Yeah. So it's are you serious? These guys are going to be very, very enthused. I think the depth is good. We can you know how you see Georgia play and they constantly rotate players out, rotate them out. We can do that. We can have a real rotation coming out on third down, on first down, and have plenty of depth, man. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And you know what? I don't think that this is necessarily his style of play, but I'm confident that Coach Riley, Cliff Kingsbury, all of the offensive staff are going to manage the clock a little bit better.
Well, that goes back to the offense. That goes back, man. I was calling you during the game. I was like, why are we scoring so fast? I mean, you gotta, I understand you got the shock and awe of the whole thing, man. But I'm like, that's another thing. That's a whole nother topic that we can control the clock a little better. I think that we can have a little, but I think you do the shock and awe in the beginning, but then start controlling the clock as the game kind of progresses. You know what I mean?
That's it. So you can get guys reps. That's what we need. We need our younger guys, our second stringers, to get the reps that the first stringers are getting without the pressure. On top of that, I know that our special teams are going to have way more tactical advantages in these games because special teams fuel defense, man. I don't care what nobody says.
Yeah.
When special teams makes a good play, the defense gets fired up.
Yeah.
Like you can be exhausted from a long drive, and let the special teams make a good play. Woo!
Yeah.
Free yards,
Absolutely. We got plenty going for the special teams, man. I mean, you got, I don't know who Zach Branch, you got Taj Washington, you got Raleek, all these guys, man. Let me answer this. This is a question coming from Oscar. He says, if SC would have faced Georgia in the national championship game, would that be the dream scenario for Bear Alexander or too much pressure? What's your thought?
Nah, that dude is built for pressure now. He's a national champion. So I would never say that I think he would revel in it. Anytime you get to go and compete against somebody who you believe knows you on a personal level, you get fired up for that. But I'm not thinking about that. Lord knows, I don't even know if Georgia will make the national title.
Right. Well, they got that loss to the soft schedule.
But
that's crazy.
To me, that doesn't mean anything because they don't have the same quarterback.
Right. I agree with you on that. Bama as well.
Really, we're returning the Heisman. We're returning the winningest, percentage quarterback right now in Caleb. He's the best player in college football. He won the Heisman. I'm very much excited to see his level of leadership going into this year. Now that even himself, he says he knows the offense better now than he did during the season. Yeah. That's a scary proposition.
Very scary.
That there were times out there on the field where he was still learning the offense and reading the field in a way that it was new to him. So he's like, I understand now what is capable in this conference and how to go about things. And it was a quote that he said, if you don't like me now, he said, you're definitely going to love me when we're hosting up that trophy at the end of the season. Because right now it's not my job for, to be loved and liked by everyone. It's my job to lead this team to where I believe we're supposed to go. And it's my honor to do that. So he's just handling it like the consummate professional. And I love that approach to him. And I love having a second coach out on the field when he's out there. And so it's just an exciting time.
Absolutely, man. So we want those who are just coming in, we got 117 in here right now. We talked about the defense. We talked about the offense. We went over some of the numbers from last year, kind of compare and contrast to what we think going to be this year. Now, top freshmen, these are a couple of questions I have for you, man, before we get out of here. Which freshman on offense, do you think, really intrigues you to another level right now?
Intrigues me.
You. What freshman?
Man, this might be.
Or which freshman are you most excited to see?
Well, of course, Zachariah Branch.
Yeah.
I think Zion Branch is exciting too. And he's going in. He's been there since last year, but he's going to be a freshman this year. Yeah. I think he's going to crack that defensive rotation and do some nice things back there. But of course, Zach Branch is the most exciting prospect to me since Reggie Bush. Hey,
well, You played with Reggie Bush, so I think you kind of got an idea.
Correct.
What kind of Reggie player was?
And the reason I say that is because when Reggie got to SC, when I saw him running as a freshman, like when they did freshman camp, and I watched him at running back, I was like, oh, they're gonna move him to slot. That was my first thought. When I saw him, I was like, yeah, they're probably gonna put him at slot receiver eventually. He gonna be like one of those types of guys. And then I started to see how talented he was at running in between the trenches and setting up his blocks and getting lateral, then getting vertical. And I was like, oh no, he's got the complete game. So, but you knew that whenever Reggie touched the ball, that somebody was gonna go woo.
That's right, Zach Brent. Yeah, you're right, man. That's exactly how he is.
But so is Raleek. So is Band-Aid Lee, bro. He's gonna give people headaches all season. To put those two dudes in the back. Put those two dudes on the field at the same time. So anyway, Zach Branch, and I think as a freshman, Deuce is gonna actually shock some people with with like the red zone stuff. Deuce, and then I think Elijah Page is gonna find his way on the field early.
Yeah. He was actually Elijah Page was actually one of my freshmen that kind of intrigued me. Just he was committed to Notre Dame. We flipped him, but his size is just looks like. And matter of fact, I put a picture of Amos Talele the other day as well. Man, he looks incredible as well. So there's a couple of freshmen.
They look like juniors in college,
these guys, I don't think, and let me say this again, we got 119 people here. For those who really don't understand how good of a class, this class is so severely underrated. I mean, these are some very, very, we got 124 now. These are some very, very good guys. And I'm telling you, everybody's going to be shocked at some of these guys from an offensive perspective. We talked about the offensive perspective. Who's your favorite, most intrigued you? What about defense? There's so many of them as well, man.
Okay, true freshman?
True freshman.
You're talking about true freshman.
You got to be a true freshman. What true freshman intrigues you the most that's coming in right now from a defensive perspective?
Man, how could you choose between Braylon Shelby, Sam Green, PV?
That's what makes it. You have to pick one. That's what makes it. This is really showing and magnifying how good this class is. Tackett Curtis. I mean, you got all of them.
See, I was about to say the only thing that might slow Tackett down is the fact that Eric Gentry is a dog and Mason Cobb.
Yeah.
But those D linemen, man, I'm gonna go Braylon. I'm gonna go Braylon Shelby. Sam Green too. Like, there's no way to choose.
There's no way to choose. And I think a sleeper, man, is a guy by the name. We got 128 in here now. I think a sleeper is a guy from the Inland Empire, Dejan Lafitte as well, man. He's like
Dejan Lafitte.
Yeah. He's a. I don't know exactly what he's gonna do yet. I mean, he might just come in and just wreck everything up. And he's a big 300-pound body, man. So him along with Braylon Shelby's probably gonna be my number one guy. But Sam Green, I've already seen what Sam Green could do. I've seen what Tackett Curtis can do because they had an opportunity to be here for the spring. And so I kind of know but when we're talking about the most intriguing to me that I don't have an idea about, I think right now it's probably going to be Braylon Shelby on defense. I think when I seen this high school film, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, Braylon Shelby looks like he's been in college for 3 years. You know, like, I keep saying that, but like these guys don't look like we used to when I was in college. Like coming in as a freshman, I'm like barely touching 170, These dudes are big, fast, strong, violent, intelligent. They're professional. It's wild, man. Like, I would actually say Braylon as well, though. Braylon and Taggett.
Absolutely. And Gordon Ames said, how about Christian Pierce, along with Sam Green and Tackett Curtis and Elijah Page, those guys played in the spring, so we have an idea. Christian Pierce is a baller. He had an interception in the spring game. He's one of my favorite players as well. I love all these guys.
The only reason I can't say Christian is because he's playing behind an All-American. That's the only reason.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, that whole safety battle is going to be crazy as well. So we talked about the offense, we talked about the defense, and we wrap it up. But and we talked about the who we think for the freshmen. Now, breakout player that really hadn't got the love that he needs, that really kind of underperformed or might have been injured. I'm throwing some hints out there. Who do you on offense and defense?
Okay, so on offense, I'm going Mike Jackson. Between Mike Jackson,
man, yeah, he's unreal to me, man.
I mean, if they put the ball in Darwin's hands, he's gonna smash people. Barlow, if they just give the man the football, he's gonna smash people.
Yeah.
Right? And then on defense, unfortunately, you know, my bro, he hurt his shoulder early in the season. Yeah. But you know who I'm talking about.
Well, we seen flashes of that guy. I seen him what he did in the spring game. I seen him shoot across the field, make a tackle, and I'm telling you, if he looks like that,
yeah.
You want to say his name?
You got to call it, boss.
Romello Height. Look, Romello Height. If he came from Auburn, man, he looks like, I don't know if you guys seen him. I did a video about him, man. He had his shirt off. He looked like an Incredible Hulk. I don't know what he's been doing, but man, this dude looks unreal. He looked like a robot, man.
Romello's he's actually a game changer, and we needed him last year, man. We really needed him last year. So
yeah,
he's going to be a breakout player for sure. And I'm banking on Corey Foreman again. You know, I want to see him. I want to see him situationally do what I know he's capable of because he's a genetic freak.
Yes. I'm gonna get. You know, we never like to go over an hour. We're at 51 minutes now. It seems like that time be going fast. I'm gonna hit some of these questions and read some of these questions real quick before we get out. Mike Jackson, Northwest Ninja. Mike Jackson and Raleigh Brown is still slot, and we'll give defense. Yeah, absolutely, man. Every time Mike Jack get that ball, we already know what Raleigh could do. He absolutely explode. Brendan Iverson, Barlow. Yeah, I'm with you on that, man.
I lost you, big bro.
Barlow, like 100%. 100%. Got to run. Hey, we about to run as well. Great show. Hey, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Big Black. Going to be Hill for the Dolphins. Look, man, we appreciate everybody, man, tapping in, and we don't want to hold everybody too long. Jaywalk, man, anything else before we tap out of here, man? As far as what you seeing for the team, man, what you projected for the team? I'm not even gonna say. It's really almost unfair to kind of project starters. You know what I mean? Because I did it for a video, but these guys will battle it out.
Let these guys compete in fall camp. I'll tell you, I'm excited to see Damani play a full season. I'm excited to see how Christian Roland Wallace lines up out there at corner, two big frame cornerbacks. I'm excited about Jacoby Covington's, ascension. I would love to see, Zion Branch out there with his athleticism, his ball skills on defense. Hopefully, our defensive line, like Solo, how great is it going to be to see Solo finally healthy and doing what he – remember, they were asking Solo to transfer, man.
Hey, did you hear the interview he had the other day, man?
Which one?
He did an interview and he talked about how he said it was never in my mindset. This was during Pac-12 Media Day. He said they asked him about leaving, because a lot of guys left, a lot of his buddies left. He said it was never in my mindset, not one time. He said, but I had to prove myself. He said I had to stay here, I had to prove myself, and now things have begun to turn from him. But to your point, I think they wanted him to. I think he was going to have to get up out of here, man.
And he put on 20 pounds just to show how dedicated he was.
Yeah.
So there's just a bunch of guys who I know who are just on the cusp. Rajon Davis being one of them. If they just cut him loose, we're going to see levels of productivity and overall athleticism that we haven't seen in a while, man. So I'm not concerned with the offense. The offense, almost every piece is interchangeable, and you won't get any drop off. I believe even on the offensive line, I believe you got Marshawn Lloyd, who I think is going to add some glitchiness to our running back room and some toughness that forces Austin to do his kind of slow and steady and methodic approach, because Austin is like a slow and steady. I'm just gonna keep pounding you.
Well, let me stay there for a minute.
Yeah.
As a running back, I know you have to get in the rhythm.
Yes.
So you got Austin Jones. You got so. How do you think that's? I'm not asking for projections of starters, but how do you think that's going to work out as far as?
I think Austin understanding how Caleb plays and how to pass pro for him now, because he came on strong at the end of the season last year. I believe he gets the nod, but I could see Marshawn coming in even on the third play or second play of the first series. Like I could see Marshawn starting the second series of offense, right? I could see them rotating very frequently once a precedent has been set. But the 1-2 punch is very unique. And it's needed at USC because USC, historically the most successful USC offensive has had a running back by committee type of approach. It was never just one solid guy. Like if you think about all the great USC teams, there was always kind of a main guy and then a complementary guy. And then at any given moment, that complementary guy could produce more than the main guy.
Yeah.
And so that's just how it is. And I just see Darwin being the balance of both of those types of backs. Then you got, Marion Peterson and Quentin Joyner, who undoubtedly are talented, capable freshmen who could do it all. So we just got a fully loaded deck of cards that we're playing with, which makes the running back scenario very appealing. I don't want to see us waste any of the red shirts because I know that both of those backs are made for the big conference, the Big Ten conference for sure.
So you said, yeah. You say don't waste their red shirts, or you saying red shirt?
I think they should.
That's my whole point. That's why I wanted to address the running back. It's going to be hard though. I mean, because they both showed a lot of explosiveness to
because you still got Raleek that could play running back. So
what
I'm saying is, I think Raleek should be the 4 running back. The way I would do it is Austin because of his consistency and the team trust him, and he was a beast for us at all throughout the season, specifically the end, and he was the star of the Notre Dame game when it came to like keep moving the ball, right? So Austin, I think Marshawn, and as he gets used to playing in the Pac-12 conference, which is different than the SEC, the running style is different. The DBs move differently. The D linemen cut you differently as a tackler. Like they just play different here. So once he gets used to that, then you'll see him come on strong. Darwin should be able to get at least 6 to 8 touches a game, man.
And that's all. I think if he gets,
that's all he needs with what he's proven it. And then you got Raleek, who can also carry the ball in critical moments, and he's definitely proven that he can do it.
Well, they did officially move Raleek over to on the roster.
I know.
Over to slot receiver. So
right, but so if you ever have depth issues, like let's say God forbid Marshawn and Austin go down, Darwin is a starting running back, and you got Raleek to back him up, and then there's also Cash who played. There's another running back we got too that's good. His name's Cash, I believe, right?
Matt Colombo.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Matt Colombo. I think he was. Did he go to St. John Bosco?
Matt Colombo.
Hey, he is a baller. Hey, he's actually
running back.
He's like. I was looking at him one day. I was like, dang. I mean, he's a preferred walk-on.
And Carson Tabo can play running back. Like,
man, can he?
Guys that can play the position. I don't know. I mean, I know those freshmen want to play, but I would not waste their I would save them, man.
I'm with you on that. As much as I hate to say it, because I love both of them, Marion Peterson and Quentin Joyner, man. Both of those guys are just explosive guys. But you got these other guys, man. It's like, how do you rotate that? So that's the only way. I'll say that. That's the only way I think Darwin gets his touches, Lloyd gets all his touches, and everybody be comfortable. That's the only way I can see that happening if they do it like that.
It's true.
I do think they will allow them to play in at least 4 games. You can't go over 4 games, right? And,
you can't go over 4 games.
Yeah, so they will get them some touches, but I think I think it will benefit us and benefit them as well to do the red shirt, man.
Yeah, I agree. So they can lead us into the conference, the new conference, and I think that'll be perfect.
Absolutely. So look, we have 59 minutes and 19 seconds, man. Look, any other questions before we get up out of here? I know J-Walk is about to
get prediction. What's your record prediction?
Man, we 12-0, man. You already Hey, it's 12. I'm not even stuttering on that. I don't even have to think about that. It's 12-0. 12-0. What's your prediction? It's not even a thought for me.
No L's. No L's.
No L's. And I'm going to say the same way I said for last year with the Utah game at Utah. It was a 50-50 game, and really they stole that game. We already know what happened with that. Yep. So I think the Oregon game is like that just because of the environment, I think. But we play Washington at home, and I think that, well, I don't think the Notre Dame. I think we'll do Notre Dame, man. The year before last year, I mean, what was it, 17-31? I think Keenan Slovis was the quarterback, and we gave them a run for their money. And it wasn't just a blowout. I think we're gonna go in there and dominate, man. Just because of the way Caleb's mindset. What's your thoughts?
I do too. Yeah. 12-0.
12-0? That's your word. That's your word. You stick it to. Yeah. So I'm 12-0, man. 12-0, and it's that's the way I think we're gonna roll, man. And so, man, Jaywalk, man, appreciate you for taking out the time, man. I just wanted to we wanted to go over this fall preview. Hey, look, we about to get this thing kicked off, man. So you know.
One more question. What's the sleeper toughest game of the season?
Sleeper toughest game of the season. I think because of I don't even know if it's a sleeper, but I think because of the quarterback, man. I think he beat the crap out of Texas. He beat Oregon last year, and I think Michael Penix, man, Jr. I just think we got to be very careful. Their receivers are strong. Yep. Their rush in position is strong. I think the coach is strong. So I just think that's the sleeper team that we have to just kind of be careful, man. What about you? I don't even think Oregon is as tough as Washington. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not that high on Bo Nix, but you know, that's I mean, as a human, yes, but he's got some deficiencies that I think we can expose. I don't believe, and this is not hating, because I want to see them, all of the athletes do well. I don't believe Michael Penix is going to have the success he had last year.
Right.
He caught everyone off guard last year. He threw some really questionable balls. I don't think I think he's going to throw a lot of interceptions. That's just me, and I could be so wrong. He could make me eat dirt, and if he does, I'm going to very gladly come on and say, Michael Penix, man, you shut me up, and I will support. I'm gonna buy your jersey as a pro. I'm gonna represent whatever team you're playing for, and I support you. I support him to now because I know how hard of a road he's had. But the thing is I just don't believe he's gonna duplicate that. Look at all the pressure that he has on him, and he was never the type of player that they were putting that Heisman stamp on earlier in his career. So now he's a Heisman hopeful. That's a lot of stress and pressure, man.
With him, he had that game against when he played at Indiana. He balled out. He beat Ohio State, and he ended up transferring. But he kind of reminded me of he was indecisive at times. He kind of reminded me of Bo Nix. Actually, when he was at Auburn, they kind of had similar type of games. But I don't think. I mean, I don't know. He's kind of developed a little better than what he was. But there's some 50-50 balls that he does throw up. I've noticed that you got to be careful with. He does throw some 50-50. But so that, that's kind of that's not really a sleeper. I guess Arizona will probably be my sleeper. Jayden de Laura,
Jayden de Laura, that's a game that
is a problem.
It's uniquely challenging every year, no matter what.
Yeah. Who's your sleeper?
I lean towards Arizona. And I mean, I think we should beat the crap out of Oregon, but that is a tough game also.
Yeah, no doubt about that, man. Well, look, man. Hey, look, we appreciate everybody. We got 126 here. Appreciate everybody for tapping in, man. This is what we think that is going to be for the fall. And look, these guys are practicing now. Now is the time, and the time is now. I think we get ready to see some. Everybody mind is set, man. Lincoln Riley already made the statement. Job is not finished. Look, job is absolutely not finished, man. It's all of us. Look, go ahead and book your hotels right now. Book your hotels. Get all your information together that you need, your travel plans. Because look, we are going to the national championship game. I believe that with all my heart, man. I believe everything's going to be tightened up. So look, absolutely. Until later on, Jay, any last words before you get up out of here?
Hey, much love to you guys. It's so good to see you after so many weeks off. make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you share the channel so that, you know, Big Bro USCJ can keep growing. And you know, give Big Bro his flowers, man. We'll give him his roses, you know, because he's doing a remarkable job for us day in and day out. And so we just really want to support him the right way, man.
Absolutely. Big J, and you guys already know Big J, he'll be on here, man, once we get this thing really kicked off for the season.
All season.
Hey, it's gonna be straight up go time, man. So look, until later on, everybody stay blessed. I'm about to go give me some Chipotle. I'm about to get lost in Chipotle. You want me to tell you what J-Walk told me to do? No.
Hey, don't be giving my life hack.
I ain't gonna get the secrets away.
Hey, tell him, go ahead, let him know.
Hey, let me tell you. Hey, to get your money worth, J-Walk, he gave me a secret, and I kind of follow that. I go find me the biggest shell I can get from the grocery store, and I'll order me a bowl. I'll order me a bowl from Chipotle. I'll tell them double meat, double steak, double everything, double onions. And look, man, I'll have my tortillas in the car. And once I get back, I'll make 3 biggest burritos. I'll make 3 of the biggest burritos I can find. I can make. J-Walk gave me that great advice, and I've never left it behind.
Hey man, that's when you hungry and you like living on that budget, brother. When I was back in my bodybuilding days, though, that's how I survived, bro.
Absolutely.
Get that big old bowl, throw everything in there. They just keep adding the lettuce, the veggies. They just load it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tortillas.
Absolutely, man. Hey, Big Brian said J-Walk getting swole, man. He getting all swole up, man. He got me lost in the sauce right now. But it's all but I'm about to go eat a burrito though.
Let's go. Much love, big bro. Love you guys.
Until later on, look, everybody stay blessed, man. Thank everybody for coming in, man. Continue to stay blessed. Fight on, fight on, fight on.
Fight on, loved ones. Love you guys.